Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's Friday Live on the final Friday in August. It's August 30th. Can you believe that? We are almost, I think I say this just about the end of every month, but we are almost in September. It's crazy. In fact, what is it? The 1st of September is the first day of spring for us here in Australia. So we're heading into spring. You guys are heading in the other direction for some of you who are in the Northern Hemisphere. It's a windy, warm day here today, and spring is on its way. So this is our last Friday live of August. Crazy, just crazy how fast the year is going. Anyway, if you are joining me live, and like I do every week, I'll give this the notifications time to filter through, so you guys know that I'm here. Of course, please say hi. Let me know where you're listening from, and if you have a question at all, you can pop it in the comments below, and I will answer it for you. Or if there's something you want to share, anything at all, that's what these Friday Lives are all about. It's like, what can I do to be of service, to answer your questions, to help in any way, shape or form? That's what this is all about. So if you've got a question, pop it in the comments below, or just say hi and let me know where you're listening from, just so I know I'm not talking to myself. It's 11:11 here, so one of my favorite number combinations is 11:11. Hi, Sylvia. Warm and windy here in Sydney too. Going to be 30 degrees. Oh my goodness, 30 degrees. Wow. I think we're going to be in for a really hot summer, because I know it's been getting hot really early in Queensland as well. It's crazy. That's hot for you guys, isn't it? And we're barely really in spring. So we've had incredible winds here. It is, but it's very warm outside, but very, very, very windy. I always find the wind a bit unsettling, but spring is definitely on its way. My favorite time of year. I love spring. It's just, I don't know, there's this freshness and newness of life when spring has sprung. So it's my absolute favorite season. Okay, so obviously people have sent me in some questions. I will get to those in a moment and answer them. Like I said, I'm just going to let the feed filter through for a little bit. I'll give you a bit of a, I've just had a lovely morning. I've finished with a couple that I've been working with. It was their last session, and it was so lovely to see the change in them. It was delightful. There was so much lightness between them. They were laughing, cracking jokes with each other. They were in such a good feeling. They had an incredible amount of goodwill. It was just beautiful to see. So, they were sharing with me how excited they feel about their future, and that, when we started, they weren't at all. They were full of dread and worry, and very, very, very disconnected. So I just love the fact. In fact, she said to me, she said to me? I feel the way about him I used to feel in those first few years of when we got together. It's just lovely. And it was just beautiful to see. So for me, that is the reason why I do what I do, is to see that result in people, is to see people coming back to that connection with each other, and that playfulness, and that enjoyment of being in each other's company. To me, that's what it's all about. And these guys were very, very, very disconnected. So it's just been beautiful to see how at ease they are with each other, and as they were saying, they have so much more confidence in their ability to talk about things and get through life together and do life together. It was just beautiful. So so that's been a real highlight for me this morning, and I wanted to share that with you guys, because no matter what you might be going through, it's easier to turn things around than you realize. I mean, obviously you both have to want to, of course, that helps, but they wanted to, but they were very, very low in, I think, the belief that they actually could. There was a very low level of, like, obviously I'd like to, but I just don't think it's possible. I think we might be too far gone. That's kind of where they were at the beginning. So to see them with each other today, laughing, so lighthearted, cracking jokes, being lighthearted with each other's frailties, feeling good. Like you could see it as soon as they jumped on that we were chatting over Zoom. I said, "Wow, you guys seem so light and carefree and comfortable." It was lovely. So that was beautiful for me this morning, I've got to say. Hi, Craig. Good morning. Thanks for saying good morning. Nice to hear from you. And Sylvia, I can see that you're on YouTube, so that's good. There are people out there on YouTube that are listening to me, so that's also good to know. Anybody else who wants to say hi, please do so. And like I said before, if you have a question, please pop it in the comments below and I'll answer it for you. So with that in mind, I'm just going to bring up the questions that have been sent in to me. Just going to bring them up now. Okay. All right. Cool. All right. All right. Okay, let me start with this one. Hi, Fiona. Thank you for all your Facebook videos. I watch them all. You've talked about the importance of sovereignty and how vital it is in our relationships. Could you please share more about what you mean by sovereignty and how to build and maintain it? I've struggled with being dependent on my partners and often find myself overthinking everything they do, think, or say. I appreciate your insights. Thank you. Okay, sure. Look, great question. So, sovereignty, I think, is really important for us all. Okay. They're very, very important for us all. And what I mean by that is, I feel like I have sovereignty around myself, meaning that I don't measure my sense of self worth based on somebody else's opinion. I don't measure my sense of self worth based on how communicative my husband is, or I don't base my sense of self-worth on my children's behavior, or, like, in other words, my sense of self-worth is not based on something external to me. Now, when our sense of self-worth is based on something external, then obviously our sense of self goes up and down depending on what is going on with that thing, right? Now, and when we feel like that, we're in a constant state of needing to prove ourselves, hide something, justify something. What else? How else could I describe that? We're in this. We're not coming from a place of ease and grace. And this is why people overthink things, because we worry about what other people think. We worry about whether we've done enough. Like, often, when you're not sovereign, your sense of self-worth is also based on, how much you've done, what you've achieved, how successful you are, like all of these things, right? And so it's often filling a hole that can never be filled. It's like it's like walking along the beach with a bucket that's got a giant hole in it and just filling it up with sand. And so when you're not sovereign within yourself, it's almost like no matter what someone does, it will never be enough. No matter how much someone validates you, it will never be enough. You'll always be looking for more. You'll never feel full. And so it is very important that we're sovereign. Very important. So, in other words, like, I love my husband and I love being around him. As I was just sharing with the couple that I just finished working with this morning, I was just sharing with some of you guys just the amazing space that they were in and what a joy it was to see them in that space. And I was saying to them, because they were talking about how excited they are about their future. And I said, I know, I love that. I love feeling so excited about the fact that, my husband and I were like little giggling kids on Friday as we threw some stuff in the back of our van. We've got a little old vintage van that we just hook up to the back of our car and off we go. We were like giggling kids. We were so excited to go away for the weekend together and just hang out and have some fun and just enjoy each other's company. And I said, it's just so lovely after all these years together. I mean, we're looking at 20 years, our 20th wedding anniversary in October. It's just so lovely to feel that way. Like, it's lovely to be excited, to look forward to seeing my husband. It's kind of like, like, yay, it's you, instead of, oh, it's you, right? I love the fact that I have that feeling. And so, I very much feel that way, but at the same time, I'm also quite self-contained, meaning I don't need him to be a certain way for me to be okay. I don't need lots of validation for me to have a sense of self. Does that make sense? It doesn't mean that I'm disconnected, but I'm not reliant on those things. My self-worth is not reliant on something external to me. And I think that's very, very important for us all. It is so much easier to be in relationship with someone whose self-worth is not based on something external. So your ability to be sovereign has many facets to it. I mean, I could just talk about sovereignty for literally 3 hours. I really could. But, the obvious ones are the ones I've just pointed out. And it's also your ability to pick yourself up when life hits, when things don't go your way. It's all of those kind of things. You become your own generator. And I think this is very, very, very important. Hence why I've created a module dedicated to this, which is the last module in Relatable, dedicated to this, where you kind of create a series of vows to yourself about how you want to show up in the world, what you want to create, what you want to generate. And that helps a lot with our ability to be sovereign. So to not be so externally reliable or motivated based on someone else's opinion, because that is such a slippery slope. Because if that person's unhappy or angry with you or frustrated with you, your sense of self-worth then goes down. And then, of course, when it's based on something external, it's like you're a puppet on the end of a string. And that's an exhausting way to live your life. And it's also very difficult for the other person, because it puts a huge burden of responsibility on them. All right. People start to feel responsible for your happiness. And that creates codependency and all kinds of toxic patterns that you just don't need to generate. It doesn't need to be there. And it's why it makes things feel so hard. But when we are sovereign, we move through life with so much more ease. We get over things quickly. We have a much stronger sense of resilience, and we're just much more self-contained. All right, that's probably the quickest and easiest answer I can give to that. Like I said, I could talk about it for 3 hours, but I think it's really important for us all, and it's totally possible for everybody, okay, to achieve that. And I think that is one of the outcomes that is available as you learn the understanding that I teach. Because I certainly I didn't have that sense of sovereignty prior to that, that's for sure. But I certainly do now. And I love that. It's very freeing. It's the gateway to emotional freedom, which I think we all want. Okay. We really do. Life is so much easier, and you're so much nicer to be around. And the burden of your sense of happiness and well-being is not on somebody else, which is good for them, good for you, good for your relationship. So I hope that answers your question, and great question, because I think that's just super, super important. Hello, everybody. We've got a few more people joining us. Hi, Kiko. You're in Japan. Yay. How awesome. Welcome. Thanks for tuning in from Japan. And Leanne, hello. Love from New Zealand. Lovely to see you too, honey. Really, really welcome. Sorry to hear the Facebook Live notifications haven't been reliable. I don't know. Facebook can be really buggy at times. It really can. Hey, Jonas. Jonas, when you're deep in your low mood, it's an opportunity to look within and try to understand what is going on with you. What if you do that and still can't understand? Well, I'm not sure what you mean by not understanding. You'd probably have to give me a little bit more information about that. If you understand the way things work, looking within is just helping you understand where you are, like where you are in the thought cycle, where you are. And it has you look at things in a more impersonal way versus a personal way. When I was talking about that with this couple this morning, about the gift of knowing that. And as they said just the gift of knowing that means that, when we are in a low mood, or each other is in a low mood, we know exactly how to navigate that really well, so it doesn't affect goodwill. It doesn't affect the level of connection between us, and we don't have emotional residue that so many people do after they go through a period of time where maybe they're not connecting very much. Maybe they're each other's in a low mood. Maybe things just aren't feeling as easeful, I think that's a word, as normal. And so people then just take that really personally, and then they start to have all this emotional residue. See, my husband and I don't have emotional residue, which means when something happens, we get over it quickly, we come back to well-being, and we just keep going. I think emotional residue takes its toll on people over time. And it starts to be this kind of heavy load that you carry within you. And so that the next time something like that happens, you take it very personally and you're kind of like, oh, here we go again. Oh, I hate the way they do that. I'm so over this. Why am I always the one that has to? Or why can't they just stop? I'm so sick of the fact that they never do this. And so we just get caught up in all of that icky stuff, right? And it just clings. It clings to us. It permeates things. It flavors things. And so we're not as generous the next time we see each other. We're kind of drowning in all of that. And that's what this couple was saying to me today. You know, I used to be drowning in so much dissatisfied thinking. I used to be drowning in so much frustration and negativity towards each other that it was really impossible for us to connect, to have a conversation, to even be affectionate in any way. And so it was lovely. They're very affectionate with each other now. It's just beautiful. And that's because all of that has fallen away. And it is possible for it to fall away, literally fall away. Okay. A lot of us think that the way out of something like that is to fix all of our problems and to talk about everything and unpack everything and analyze everything. But have you ever noticed that the more you do that, the worse and bigger things seem? Right? That's what happens. And so people get very discouraged. And when we feel very discouraged, you know, we don't have the capacity that we need to generate goodwill, to generate a good feeling, to come back to that place what people are looking for: connection, lightheartedness, playfulness, all of that kind of stuff, right? So it's really, really important that you know how to go from personal to impersonal, okay? And there is an impersonal nature to life. There is an impersonal nature to our experience. There really is. When you see it, you can't unsee it, okay? When you see it, you can't unsee it. And, you know, that's what they were saying. Now that we've seen this, we can take this with us forever. And we've now got a pathway. So when we hit a road bump, and I said, you will hit a road bump, you will, it's inevitable. People's frailties come out. That's just an inevitable part of being in a relationship with someone, of spending so much time with someone. Your frailties come out. My husband's frailties come out. My frailties come out. Another word for frailties are insecurities. Everyone's got them. I've got them. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, you know, I've been doing this for so long and I don't have any. That would be a lie. And it's also an unavoidable part of being human. You cannot remove frailties. You can't. All right. Everybody has moments of being in a low mood, where life feels a bit much, where they've lost patience, where they don't have bandwidth. This is just part of being human. But to expect yourself not to have those things is very problematic. All right. So, you know, it's about setting people up for success and giving them the tools and things they need to navigate those things with each other well. Because when you navigate them well, what does it matter? Right? What does it matter? What does it matter that I'm in a low mood or my husband's in an insecure frame of mind? Like, so what? He's allowed, he's human. Now, if I'm not holding it against him, and people hold stuff against each other all the time for years and years and years, and if I'm not holding that against him, I've got a completely different understanding. I don't have to be frightened of his moods. He doesn't have to be frightened of mine. We don't have to be treading on eggshells with each other. And that makes an enormous difference to our ability to navigate life. Now, this still applies if you are single, okay? Because often, you know, if you're single, you want to be looking at your relationship with you, okay? Are you graceful with your frailties? Do you have humility over things? Do you have massively high expectations of yourself where you feel disappointed in yourself all the time? Like, this is just as applicable if you are single, right? How do you navigate your own insecurities? How do you navigate your frailties? Now, if you're holding yourself to such a ridiculously high standard, and I see this with people, please understand that when you get in relationship, you will absolutely do that to the person that you are in relationship with. You 100% will do that. How you show up to you is how you show up to others. It's just the way it is. So this is why your relationship with yourself matters. How you navigate you matters. Then how you navigate life matters, and how you navigate other people. It's those 3 areas of relationship. And we can be great at all 3 of them just with the same understanding. That's what I love about the understanding that I teach. It applies to all 3 areas. You look in the same direction for the answer, because we are always in a relationship with something, right? Either ourselves, life, or another person. And so it's really important that we do this stuff well, because it impacts every area of our lives all of the time. And so when we do that well, our level of well-being goes through the roof. And that's what I saw with this couple this morning. It was so beautiful. It's lovely to see them giggling and excited. And, I'm excited about us. And that's what they were saying. And the things that we're going to do together, and our future, and what that looks like. And, and I feel like this, it was lovely. They were like 2 giggly little kids. It was beautiful. It's like, of course you can access that. And they've been together many, 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 many years. Okay. They're, I think, both in their 50s. So, it's this whole thing where we talk about the honeymoon period and how it disappears and all of those things. It doesn't mean that you have to lose it forever. It doesn't mean that you can't access that. My husband and I are like giggly, like I said, giggly kids when we know we're going away for the weekend and we're going to spend some time together. And that hasn't changed. And I don't see it changing. And that's all thanks to how I navigate myself and how we navigate each other. Hi, Mona. Hi, nice to see you. Thanks for saying hi. It's always lovely to see you, Mona. Yeah, low mood comes from low thinking. That's right. It sure does. Thanks, Sylvia. Hi, Jody. Hello from beautiful Washington State. I do love Washington State. It's such a beautiful part of the US. It's gorgeous. I miss it. I haven't been there for a number of years. I really do miss it. I'm feeling called to go over there. A lot of my relatable students are asking me to go over there and run an event over there. So I'm definitely feeling called to go do that. It would be so lovely. Hey, Deezer. Thanks, Fiona. Great reminder. Oh, you're so welcome, honey. Life is a honeymoon for us too. I know it is. Isn't that wonderful? It's so, yeah. I'm so happy for you, Deezer. It's just beautiful what you're spreading in the world. Jonas, you're so welcome. I hope that helps. I really, really do. Jody, please come. We'd love to see you. Thank you. I must admit, I'm very, very, very tempted to do so. It's definitely time. Haven't been to the US since before COVID, and I used to go there every year. So it's long, long, long overdue. Okay. Anybody else who wants to say hi, please do. Let me know where you're listening from. Always love to hear from people. Okay, next question. All right, sorry, I'm just reading this. Hi, Fiona. Thanks so much for your videos. You're welcome. I could really use your guidance on something. I've been in this on and off relationship for years. When we're on, it feels amazing, like I'm on top of the world. But when things start to go downhill and I end up feeling like I'm the only one really committed, it's frustrating because she doesn't seem to put in the effort to move things forward. Eventually, I reach a point where I feel it's not right for me, so I break things off. But then after a few months, I find myself missing her so much. I've tried dating other people, but I just can't stop thinking about her. It's like I'm constantly consumed by thoughts of her, even when I'm with my kids or trying to focus on something else. And now that she doesn't want to do anything, now that she doesn't want anything to do with me, I feel even more attached and needy. I really want to move on and close this chapter, but I'm struggling. How can I let go and finally move forward? Thanks a lot for your help. Honestly, I would say to you, please just do my relatable program. Everything that I teach in that program would help you with this. I cannot on so many levels, in so many ways. I really can't answer that in 5 minutes here. I mean, I can give you a couple of pointers, but really, if that's what you really want to move forward, and I think also to ensure that you're not doing this in your next relationship where you are in your next relationship where you really care deeply about someone and there's a lot of emotional skin in the game, so that you don't do that on off thing in the next relationship. everything that I teach you in Relatable would help you massively with that. I think the first thing that you have to see is that, remember how I say to you all, thought is the greatest con artist on earth, okay? Thought is the greatest con artist on earth. So, and people can't see it. Like, really, they can't see it. This is one of the things that people are shocked by when we start talking about the principle of thought and how it works in Relatable, and we do a real big deep dive into this. People who thought they were aware suddenly realize, and these are people who might have done lots of programs, lots of other things, and go, no, Fiona, I'm really aware of that. And then they start learning this and like, oh my goodness, I did not realize just how seductive and what's the word? Just how intrinsically thought works in a way where I just can't see it. I just can't see it. It just looks like the way things are. And I would say that there's a little bit of that going on here. So you've been conned by your thinking, and it looks like the way things are. And so then you take an action based on it looks like the way things are. And then as time's gone by, you've missed this person and you've wanted to reach out, but obviously breaking a relationship on and off is very destabilizing. And so for the other person, they get to a point where I go, well, I don't want to be with someone where I don't know where I stand. And so then people get to a point and they go, I've had enough, right? So one thing I'd probably say to you is you'd want to question whether it's the fact that you've been in an on-off relationship or you've had thinking that's made it look that way, okay? And so because of that, you've bought into that and then gathered all the evidence to support that and then taken action around that, right? And I hazard a guess that that may well be the case because of the fact that you still have such strong feelings for this person. So you would really want to change your relationship with your thinking. Okay, very, very important. It's life-changing when you do. Believe me, it's life-changing, life-changing. And again, when I say change your relationship, I'm not talking about manage it, fix it, overcome it. I'm not talking about the content of your thinking at all. So I can't explain to you how important that is. You want to make sure that you do that because you don't want to do this the next relationship you are in. All right. This is how people repeat things innocently with their next relationship because they haven't changed their relationship with their thinking. They're getting conned by their thinking constantly. So that would be the next thing I would say. And really it's going to be the same answer in terms of I want to move forward and close this chapter, but I'm struggling. How can I let go? You let go and move forward by the kind of the principles that I teach, by understanding where your experience is coming from, how your reality is being created, and then understanding what it is that you want to generate and create in the world. I cannot tell you how important that is. And as our mind gets quieter, that's when we get access to the insights and thinking that we need that are so transformational for us all. You know, one of the things that we misunderstand as humans is we think we can think our way out of a problem. We can think our way out of a feeling. And really the opposite is true. We tend to think our way into a problem and we think our way into a feeling, right? And so this is why people do best with less on their mind. They really do. Hi, Daryl. Hi, nice to see you. Thanks for saying hi. I so appreciate it, Daryl, and I so appreciate you. Daryl is in my Relatable program, as is Jody and Deezer and a few people on here. Daryl gets up at 3:30 in the morning to attend my Wednesday call, which is just extraordinary, and he's there every week. It's just amazing. I do have a call that's in his time zone, but he also comes to the one that's outside of his time zone. So just really amazing. Karina, hi. Hi, Karina. You're in Australia. Welcome. Nice to hear from you. Thank you for your comment. I really appreciate your guidance. You're so welcome. Hey, Deezer, truth. Yes. Kimberly. Hi, Kimberly. Relatable really does help. Thanks, Kimberly. And Jody, I had no idea. Hubby and I say we didn't know what we didn't know. So thankful we know now. Yeah, it is. You don't know what you don't know. A great thing about Relatable and what we do there is the invisible becomes visible. And, you know, when something becomes visible to you, then you have the gift of choice around changing it, okay? Can't change what you can't see. This is why the gift of awareness is so important for us all. Okay, I've probably got time for one more question before we finish up today. Okay. Fiona, thank you so much for your insights into emotional freedom. You're so welcome. Married 23 years to my beautiful wife. Congratulations. And we have a great loving relationship with 2 boys. I have an insecurity about one of my wife's past sexual encounters, a positive one for her. My mind always defaults back to the negative self-righteous thoughts looking through my lens at it. Combination of jealousy, regrets on my behalf about not taking opportunities when younger, and rumination about my wife in this sexual encounter. It is the ruminating thoughts in my mind that are the problem. My wife has always been honest and forthright about the encounter. I then use a strategy of yours to put the past where it belongs. I look through my wife's lens at the situation and I end up in a peaceful state where everything is accepted by me. I always end up in the same place, whether I think about it for a minute or an hour. Okay, well, good for you. Are there any strategies to use, as I know I will always have those default thoughts, and it is the lens I look through that makes the difference in my relationship with the thoughts? Thank you so much, Fiona. You're welcome. Well, I guess the first thing that I want to say is it's not so much the strategies that make a difference, because I teach an understanding. It's understanding that's the leverage point for change. With enough understanding, there is no conflict. Truly, there's not. With enough understanding, we can get over anything and everything. I'm not saying we should. I'm not saying we have to. I'm just saying with enough understanding, we can, right? With enough humility, we can. That's why humility is such an important thing, because humility and understanding go hand in hand. They really do. We've got to learn to be humble with our lows, graceful with our highs, right? Humble with our lows, graceful with our highs. What does that mean? Well, if I'm in a low feeling or a low mood, I lovingly move through that with myself. That when I'm in a higher state of mind or a higher level of awareness, I'm graceful about that. I'm not arrogant about it, right? And I think that we innocently can be with ourselves with those things. I know for me, I used to be very, very arrogant with both of them, the highs and the lows. I didn't have a lot of humility, and humility feels good. Humility feeds the soul. I cannot tell you. Humility and grace feed the soul. Feed the soul, and when you feed your soul, jealousy does not grip you. The past does not grip you. You put things down because you're less in your egoic mind, okay? And it's our egoic mind where we are full of resentment, self-righteousness, the feeling that our reality is more important or better, or we're more right than someone else. We've got a point to prove, okay? And our egoic mind is very seductive. It very much is. And it can take a very firm grip where people cannot even see that that's where they are. I'm working, often when people will come and see me, they are caught up in a lot of drama. Okay, they are. And I say that with no judgment on it. I used to be caught up in a lot of drama. And people are caught up in an enormous amount of drama, and often an endless loop of drama. And in the beginning, when we start working together, that's where they want to go. So they want to tell their story. They want to convince me that they're right and the other person is wrong. And they're looking for someone to validate everything for them, right? And often I've got to say to people, I love you more, and I mean this when I say this. I do. I love you more. I see you as more than your drama, and I want to show you how you can go back home to a place that transcends that. That you don't have to connect to others through drama. You don't have to connect to life through drama. You don't have to connect to yourself through drama. You don't have to get your need for significance met through drama. You don't have to do that. There's a whole other level of connection waiting for you. And what I'm going to do is love you enough to hold space for that. And so sometimes, right, it can feel like, hang on, no, we've got to talk about this thing. And I'm like, if I validate you there, then you're going to get stuck in that loop. You're going to feel like the answer is solving the drama, right? The answer is that. The answer never lies in the drama. Drama just creates more drama. And let me tell you, my nickname used to be, for myself, I used to call myself the ultimate drama queen because that was my life, full of stress and drama, stress and drama. And I realized that that was how I connected with myself, life, and others. And I could see that whenever I was in that state of mind, if that's all I could see, then the level of connection I would generate was always going to be pretty low, pretty shallow, and pretty short lived because I would constantly need more drama to fill myself up. That's exhausting, exhausting, and such a, I guess, what happens is it takes up all your emotional bandwidth. And so you end up being quite stingy with the amount of love that you have to offer yourself and others. And you are stingy with yourself. Okay. I was very stingy with myself. Right. And I was very stingy with others. And so drama is never a place I'm going to meet you at. I'm going to hold space to meet you somewhere else, because I want you to see what's possible for yourself when you can create love and connection and all the good stuff without needing to do it through the lens of drama. Okay. And so for anyone, if you find yourself in that cycle, right, of that the cycle of kind of needing drama or creating drama, or and really what I mean by that is picking a fight, getting upset with something, blaming somebody, not recognizing your role in things, okay? Because we always have a role to play. I'm not saying and this isn't about fault, but you've got to be able to see these things and then have the humility to go, yeah, okay, maybe that's not, maybe I didn't handle that very well. Maybe there's another way I could deal with that. Maybe there's, right, that reflective state of mind, the humility and grace to see that, so that drama isn't your default or everything you've got in order to meet your need for significance and connection. There's so much more in life, on offer in life, than that. So much more. And it feels amazing. Greatest thing that's ever happened to me when I realized I no longer needed to do that I had more to offer, more I could generate, and there was a greater depth of feeling, connection, all of it outside of that. Okay. So if you're someone who does that, please, please, please do my relatable program, because I promise you that I will teach you everything you need to stop doing that. All right. So that you can actually create a new normal for yourself that's not based on drama. All right. Now, one of the key elements to that is understanding thought and changing your relationship with your thinking, because not everything you think is worthy of your time or attention. And in fact, most of it is not, especially the drama. It's such a slippery, slippery slope. Hey, Melinda, yeah, the replay will be available to this for this. You can listen to it afterwards. It'll be available a few minutes after the live finishes. Oh, thanks, Daryl. Thanks for replying to her comment. Appreciate it. Kimberly, I used to be a drama queen. I can relate to that. What I've learned through Relatable helped me lose the drama. I still have moments, but it's really been significant. Awesome. Yeah. And I've seen your journey, Kimberly. It's beautiful. Good for you, honey. Thanks for sharing. Hey, Sheila. Hello. Hi, Fiona. I started my journey with you 2 years ago, watched all of your weekly sessions, revisited Relatable as I did the work. Your work is authentic. It's a gate that opens the way for growth, acceptance, and healing. I'm living at the speed of life. 2 years on, Relatable changed my life. Oh, Sheila, thank you, darling. That is so... Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. Sorry, I'm just going to pop that up in case for those of you who can't see that comment, or because I think it's an important one for you all. Hey, Kiko, I'm hearing you, lol. Good, honey. Very good. Drama gets us nowhere and it gets us stuck and ruminating. You don't have to connect through that. I promise you. Okay. It's entirely possible. You can put it all down and you never have to revisit it again. Wouldn't that be amazing? Not to have to revisit that, not to trawl through it, not have to look for the answers through all of that angst and upset and resentment and frustration and anger and hurt and disappointment and unfairness that drama creates. Like, think about it. How exhausting is that? It'd be amazing if you could just put it all down and never pick it up again. Or if you find yourself picking it up, knowing exactly what to do with that, like, think about it. That is emotional freedom. And your ability to do that is something you will never, ever, ever forget. You will never forget it. You'll take it with you everywhere you go. That's what's on offer here. Pretty cool, huh? Okay. I think that's all right. There's a couple of questions here, but I'll have to leave those for next week because we're definitely at the end of time here. I just want to thank you all for being on the call with me, sharing what you share, all of that kind of stuff. And if you do want to know about my Relatable program, if you do want to join us in Relatable and some of the things that these guys are sharing, and I'd love to have you, you're very welcome to book a chat with me and find out more about Relatable, what's involved, all of that kind of stuff. I will put the link into the I'm just finding it. I'll put the link on the chat here in just a second. All right. So if you would like to join me in finding more about Relatable, I'd love to have a chat with you. You're very welcome. I'll put the link up in a second. Otherwise, I wish you all a fantastic day, and I will see you all next week. Have a great, great weekend. If you want to send me a question in, you can send it to hello@fionalukeis.com.au and I will answer it for you. Just pop it in. My assistant will make sure it's on the list of questions I answer for you, hopefully next week. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great Friday or a great Thursday, wherever you are. Thank you, Sheila. I love you too, Sheila. Thank you so much, honey. I appreciate your comments. Take care, everyone. See you. Bye.